Hey, what's going on, ladies and gents? It's been a while since I've made a video. I've been working a lot, and I just got back from traveling, and so if you see some disarray in the background, it's just I haven't put everything away. My apartment is in a little bit of disarray at the moment, but anyways, I just wanted to. I wanted to make a longer video to communicate some things that have been rattling around upstairs, and let's dive into it. Okay, so I think that a lot of people will resonate with what I'm going to talk about, especially in this world. I'll unpack this world and this illusion, but so people have, throughout my life, people have called me intense. They've called me difficult. They've said I was too much a dick. And honestly, I get it, because sometimes I was being a dick. I wasn't always trying to be constructive or noble, and sometimes I would say things to just stir the pot, to provoke, to shake people who felt fake to me. I want to be an authentic person, and I crave authenticity from other people. And but yeah, I would do that with people who seemed closed off, soft, or seemed like they were so far removed from anything that was raw or real that I couldn't even respect their perspective. So I used to be in a lot of social scenes. I used to be Catholic. I converted when I was like 32. I'm not Catholic anymore. I haven't been for about a year or so, a little over a year, I guess. But yeah, I used to, be a part of Catholic groups, community events, just like church hangouts, either at the church, the parish, or at someone's house. So, like men's groups, things like that, or just friends from church just getting together. But yeah, so there were times when I'd say something, just to set the room on fire, Not because, I didn't believe what I was saying, but because I wanted to drop something incendiary into a space that felt manufactured and just see what burned. So, it wasn't always mature. It definitely wasn't always thoughtful, but I mean, you got to hand it to me. At least I was honest. So, because you know what? I mean, being polite, sanitized truth, it tends to get ignored. But, I realized if I throw this Molotov cocktail full of raw truth into a room full of kindling, people have to respond to it. And so, it wasn't just, I wasn't just trying to start conversations. Sometimes I just wanted just to see what would catch, right? I wanted to see who would run, who would freeze, who would actually lean in, and yeah, sometimes I went way too far. Sometimes I wasn't trying to connect. I was trying to crack the surface, even if it meant using blunt force to do it. So, so there was one time at a former friend's house, we just got done watching a movie, and there was this chick there. I had never met her before. Maybe I don't know. Maybe she had met me. I couldn't remember her. But we were just having a conversation. It wasn't just me and her. It was a few other people. And I said, "What's her tits?" instead of "What's her face?" It's just funny. I don't know. It's just a funny thing to say that I think something that me and some guys I know say. You just say, "Hey, what's her tits?" It's just an offhand comment, and she immediately felt uncomfortable, and she policed what I had said, and made a whole thing of it, like I just committed like a moral offense. And of course she threw the whole that's sexist, even though it's not. It in no way insinuated that I hate women, which I don't. So it's just funny, you can take a dick, but you can't take a joke. So, but yeah, so I guess I like to think deeply into things. I mean, I understand the situation, but it just got me thinking. I just remember thinking that, like, this particular moment, this isn't like I could read this person. This isn't about the words. It's about control, really. She didn't just want to disagree. She wanted to dictate how I spoke. And I mean, if someone, plenty of people have said this, but if someone can control how you speak, it's only a matter of time before they try to control how you think. And that's kind of how it works. Because if you watch what you say, then it controls your thinking. Ultimately, that's what political correctness is about, really. It's not kindness, it's just control. It's authoritarianism disguised as manners, basically. It's total BS. But I mean, yeah, it starts with, gentle corrections, and then it becomes, tone policing, and then it becomes full-blown censorship, just with a smile and a fake virtue badge pinned to the front. So, I mean, that's when I knew I'd known this for a while. I don't know why I dabble in these groups, but I just, it was another confirmation. Ugh, my voice cracked for a second there. Oh my gosh, I'm 39. I'm not 12. But yeah, I just, it was another confirmation that I don't belong around people like that. Not because I'm better than them, but because I can't breathe in environments like that. I suffocate. I've outgrown the kind of people who thrive in a sandbox while I'm trying to build a cathedral out of the ruins of my own mind. I'm done playing in the I've been in the sandbox. I ain't about that life anymore, But this shift in my thinking and the way that I operate, it came with consequences. Just me being who I am. Of course, I lost friends. I stopped getting invited to things. I got labeled. Not because I became negative, although I've been labeled as being negative. It was because I stopped performing. I woke up. I'm not talking like a spiritual awakening. I'm not talking political. Just I mentally woke up. I stopped, nodding, and I stopped playing along, and I stopped pretending that the game made sense. And once I saw everything clearly, I just, I couldn't go back to pretending. I just can't do that. It's too cringe for me. It's not something I can get myself to do. It hurts me to pretend. So yeah, I broke free from the illusion that is this world, and I saw past the social constructs. I hate using the word social constructs because like the lefties kind of took that, but I'm taking it back. So yeah, there are social constructs, the scripted roles and just all these mindless, endless distractions. So the veil lifted, and for a moment, everything just made perfect sense at that one point when I had this awakening. But it was in the worst way possible, because I saw how hollow it all is, and now I'm here. Hollow here. In the same world, but with different eyes. Trapped in a world where people still believe in it, still build their lives around it, but I know it's not real. And so what I did was I escaped one nightmare, which was the trance of blind obedience, of false meaning, shallow connection, only to find myself, into a life of awareness in a world that punishes clarity. So I left one matrix for another. It's a world that makes me feel like I'm in a world that makes me feel like the problem for seeing too much. It's not freedom if I'm the only one who sees the cage, and it's not peace if I have to keep pretending the cage doesn't exist just to function. Like that's the way to waking up ultimately. I gained sight, but I lost belonging. And now I have to live the rest of my life as a stranger in my own reality, trapped in a place I no longer recognize, surrounded by people I can no longer connect with, just watching them sleepwalk through this simulation that I've already left. I'm gone. There's no coming back from that. And it's heavy, man. Having to go through life like this. I mean, I wouldn't change anything, but dude, it's heavy. It's heavy. You can't escape the fact that it's heavy. Not to sound like Marty McFly, and there's nothing wrong with the Earth's gravitational pull. Doc, if you're not from my day and age, you won't get that reference. But anyways, I digress. But yeah, so this is exactly what Carl Jung meant when he said loneliness does not come from having people around, but from being unable to communicate the things that seem important. I mean, that's what this feels like. It's not the absence of company per se, but the inability to share what I see. Because the more clearly I see the world, the harder it is to find anyone else who sees the same way. Or even wants to, for that matter. Not many people do. And that's what I would say is the real burden of awareness, of intelligence, of consciousness. Jung said, to become conscious is a treacherous act, because the more conscious you become, the more isolated you feel. Not because you hate people, but because your experience no longer mirrors theirs. And once your eyes are open, pretending to be blind just to feel connected again becomes unbearable. And it is. It's very unbearable. Being disconnected like that. I mean, you're connected to something bigger, ultimately. But yeah, you do lose a lot of connection with everyone else. But yeah, I guess what stings the most, or what stung the most, wasn't the system. It was the people closest to me. It was friends, family, people that I thought really knew me. They didn't really confront me. They didn't try to understand. They just slowly faded, and I realized that they were not connected to me. They were connected to the version of me that kept things comfortable. The version of me who just nodded and smiled, and the version who made things easy for them, the version who didn't challenge anything. And when I stopped playing that role, I stopped being useful to them. And what Nietzsche calls that is herd morality. So the premise is people don't chase truth, they chase comfort. And so they want to be accepted, they want to be validated, and they want to be surrounded. So when someone breaks off, when someone speaks plainly and refuses the mask, they don't know what to do with that. So they isolate you, they label you, they dismiss you. And it's not because you're wrong, it's because your honesty makes them question the structure they built their identity on. And also, George Carlin, he said it best. He said, "I like it when a flower or a little tuft of grass grows through a crack in the concrete. It's so fucking heroic. I love individuals. I hate groups of people. I hate a group of people with a common purpose, because pretty soon they have little hats and armbands and fight songs and a list of people they're going to visit at 3 a.m. and they have a lot of rules and they change them from time to time, but they always make you wear a hat. I love individuals. Every person you look at, well, almost every person, is unique. Never before in the history of the world has that person's exact genetic combination existed, and now it's here. And in 100 years, it's gone. I love that. I love everything about that. But once they start to clot, when they start to group, when they begin to clot, I hate them. That's the truth about crowds. One person thinking critically is powerful. Put a bunch of people together under a banner, and suddenly all the nuances disappear. It just becomes tribal, religious, dangerous. And I'd rather talk to one honest misfit than 10 people chanting the same script. And that's pretty much all we see. Except it's more than 10 people. It's hundreds, it's thousands, it's millions, it's tens of millions, it's hundreds of millions. But I want to make this clear. Let's be clear here. I am not antisocial. I'm not bitter. I'm not looking to isolate myself from the world. I mean, if anything, I want connection. I want real connection more than anything. I am a human being. We are social creatures. I just want it. I just want it with people who don't flinch, who think deeply, who speak plainly, and they challenge me and they let me challenge them. So people, I want people in my life who are done with the performance, done performing. They're done with the mask. They don't need a mask to feel seen. People who look around and they say, yeah, this is fake and I want something better. Because if I'm going to be stuck in this simulation, this illusion, I at least want to be around, others who see what I see. People who look at me and they recognize the architecture in my mind. Just like I want to recognize it in theirs. So yeah, I spend a lot of time by myself. I do enjoy alone time, but I'm not always alone because I want to be alone. It's because I'm not going to be fake just to be invited somewhere that I don't belong. I've said things that I shouldn't have. I've gone too hard when I should have just stayed quiet. And those are all learning experiences for me. I try to be more precise, more deliberate. I'm not scared, but I'll never be scared to offend. And my modifications aren't to keep from offending, but because I know that not everyone deserves access to my mind. Before I just, bleh. But now I know when to sheathe my sword, if you will. That sounds kind of, well, I know when to sheathe my blade, you get it. But, if you're, I guess if you're in the same spot that I'm in, which there's countless people like me. I've seen you all on YouTube. I follow some of you. But yeah, we're not broken, we're not crazy, we're not lost, we're just early. And, we just need to find the other people like us. That's the tricky part. Because we're not, we spend a lot of time alone. And, it just, I don't know. Being in this fake world sucks. This illusion, man. I'm sick of being around these people just sleepwalking. And they just want to talk about dumb stuff all the time. Dumb stuff. Yeah. We just need to unite, man. Although that's the ironic part is that goes then that goes back to what George Carlin said, that once people begin to group and clot, I mean, that's the trick there. I want to find more people, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess you can get philosophical about that, trying to think of, well, is it just anyone that groups in clots, or is it certain people? But I think it's just anyone, because yeah, you lose that individualism. Because that's when you're not as raw and as unfiltered. People do filter themselves when they're around other people, because again, they want to be accepted. They want to be surrounded by people, and yeah, I'm still trying to figure a lot of stuff out, honestly. There's a lot to take in. Being a human being is very cool and interesting, but it also is very paradoxical, and there's a lot of suffering, which suffering is good and bad. It's just, there's so many double-edged swords, so many fine lines, so many contradictions. Hence why I'm not Catholic anymore. But that's a topic for another day. But I don't know. I'm just over it. I think a lot of people are just over it. I don't know. I mean, that's pretty much all I have, really. I mean, I was going off of notes and riffing a bit. Now I'm just riffing. This is why I make notes, because I can just trail off into all kinds of different subjects, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to stop right here. I'm going to stop myself and end it here. But yeah, I needed to get that off my chest and just speak my truth. So, but yeah, there is no my truth. There's only the truth, or my opinion. But yeah, take what I said with a grain of salt. Not all of it. A lot of it's really good and objective. But yeah, I mean, I'm a fallible person. So yeah, I'm just trying to speak my mind, just like everybody else. But yeah, if you watched this and you liked it, feel free to like it and share it, or don't, But that's pretty much it. That's a wrap.